Okay, today we're starting a new chapter. We're on chapter 13, lesson 2. We are learning how to multiply whole numbers and decimals. Up until this point, we've just done addition and subtraction. Now we're getting into multiplication. So our objective is to find the product. What does product mean? Kyra?
Product is the answer of two multiplication. Is the answer of a multiplication problem.
Right, answer of a multiplication problem. But we're going to be only multiplying whole numbers and decimals today, okay? So in lesson 1, which we didn't do, they were using models. So we're skipping that, but we're just going to go straight to lesson 2, okay? So in the example on page 272, it says Carla sells jewelry made by a local artist. A customer is interested in a bracelet that is 7 inches long. So we need to know that. Okay. And after the 7 inches long, the customer asked Carla for the length of the bracelet in centimeters. So we want to know how much it is in centimeters, but we don't know that. Okay. Because right now it's currently in what? Inches. There are 2.54 centimeters per is equal to 1 inch. Okay? What is the length of the bracelet in centimeters? Okay? So how would we figure out how long the bracelet is in centimeters? Yuna.
Multiply 2.4 centimeters by 7.
Right. Why are you going to multiply those two numbers together? Why would you multiply 7 and 2.54? Harshith?
Because 7 inches is how long it is,
Mhm.
and then if 2.5 centimeters is equal to 1 inch, it would take longer if you do 2.5 until you get 7 inches. So to make it easier, you just multiply 7 multiplied by 2.5.
Right, because if you think about it like this, if I were to write it underneath, and we don't know what it is in centimeters, but we do know what it is in inches. So when we go from 1 inch to 7 inch, how much are we multiplying by? By 7, right? So if we do that for this side of the equal sign, we have to do the same for the other side of the equal sign, right? That's why they are equivalent. So we would have to times 7 here. So in order to get our answer in centimeters, we would have to take what we know, which is the 2.54, and multiply it by 7. So when you guys are doing multiplication problems like this, basically you're going to ignore the decimal. Just pretend that it doesn't exist, and the problem is just 254 times 7. That's much easier for you guys to think about than worry about the decimal point at this point. This is something you're familiar with. This is something you've done before, so it should come fairly easy to you, okay? So let's do this problem. 7 times 4 is?
28.
28. Carry the 2. 7 times 5 is?
35.
Plus 2.
37.
Carry the 3. 7 times 2 is?
14.
Plus 3.
17.
Okay, and we have no more place values at this point, so you finally bring down to 17. Okay, so now, is our answer 1,778 centimeters? No, that's just not reasonable, right? So if we look now, what we're going to do is we're going to place the decimal point in the product. So where does it belong in the answer, right? So you're going to look at the original problem, and let's put the decimal point back in. It's right there. How many place values do we have after the decimal in 2.54? 1, 2. You have 2 decimal places. Okay? How many do we have in 7? 0. We do not have any. It is not a decimal. There is no decimal point there. And there's no numbers after the decimal. Okay, so we have 0. So that means in total, how many decimal places do I have? 2. Okay, so I have 2 decimal places. So what you're going to do is you're going to start at the right-hand side, okay, where the 8 is, and you're going to loop in once, twice. Okay, so you're going to move over 2 decimal places, 2 place values, and that's where you're going to place your decimal. Okay, you start from the right and then work your way over each place value and you insert in how many decimal places. Okay, now this lesson is fairly easy because only one of your two numbers has a decimal point in it. So obviously, you only have to worry about one number and how many decimal places it has. In future problems, obviously there might be more that you have to count up. But for today's lesson, only one of the numbers is going to have a decimal. The other one is always going to be a whole number. So now that I put the decimal place in, my answer is 17.78 centimeters. So the bracelet that she wanted made is 17.78 centimeters long. Okay? That's how long the bracelet is. Make sure you have the correct label. So example 2 on page 272 we have here, okay, is 12 times 0.65. Now remember, the 0, does it affect your answer? No. Do you need to have that there? No, but it helps us see visually that it is a decimal, right? And not get confused with all the symbols. So we have 12 times 0.65. So I cannot show my work if it's horizontal. So I'm going to rewrite this problem vertically. Times 65. So basically, think of this as 12 times 65. Normal multiplication problem, right? 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1. 5 times 1 is plus 1, 6. Now, I see a lot of people make mistakes right here. When you move over to the 6, because now I'm done with the 5, okay? Where is the place value for 6? Tens, not the ones. So that means my answer needs to be in the tens place. So I automatically put a 0 here in the ones place so that I don't put a number there. And I do 6 times 2, which is 12, carry the 1. And 6 times 1 plus 1 is 7. Okay? That is one of the most common mistakes I see happen. Now I can add it up. 0, 8, 7. Am I done? No. Now I need to go back to my problem, insert my decimal, which is here. How many places after the decimal do I have here? 2. I have 2. Do I have any here? 0. So altogether I have 2. So I need to move 1, 2, and put my decimal point. So my answer is 7.80, which can also be written as 7.8. Okay? But it is very, very important that I write it 7.8 afterwards. Because if I had it as 7.8 and I ignore this and I put 1, 2, my answer would have been 0.78. And that's very different from 7.8. Do you guys see the difference? I can get rid of the 0 afterwards, but don't do it beforehand. Okay? So if you look at the top of page 273, they give you an example of when you're multiplying by 10, 100, and 1,000. It's really, really easy. If you guys are familiar with the metric system, which is what scientists and mathematicians use in most of the rest of the world except for the United States, all they have to do is move the decimal point. So if I have a number like 0.008 and I multiply it by 10, my answer is 0.08, right? So basically what I've done is I've taken this decimal and I moved it over one place value. Because each place value is a what? Power of 10, right? So then if I have 0.008 times 100, it moves over and it becomes 1, 2, and my answer is 0.8. And then I have 0.008 times 1,000, which would equal 8, because I'm moving a 1, 2, 3.
The whole number?
Yep, the whole number 8. So do you guys see what happens? Each time you multiply by 10, you're just moving it over a decimal place, okay? 10's the easiest one. So it's just do each time, depending on what power of 10 you're multiplying by. Okay, so in our practice problems, there's number 29. And number 29 says 8 times the number n is between 24 and 30. So what number would give me 24? Everyone? 3. And what number would give me 30? Or actually, what number would give me 32? 4, right? So I know that my answer has to be somewhere between what? 3 and 4, right? So there's a lot of different decimals that can fall between 3 and 4. Someone give me an example of one. Ashika. 3.5. What's an example of a decimal that falls between 3 and 4? Kyoya? 3.4. What's another one?
3.7 thousand.
Like that? Yep. Okay. Richard?
3.000000000.
Yep. Okay. All of those are numbers that fall between 3 and 4, okay? That will give me somewhere between 24 and 30. You have to be a little careful because as you get closer to 4, what is it leaning towards?
32.
32, right? So you don't want to go too far into 4. You want to stay on the other half of 3, right? Okay? It's probably 3.5 and below, okay? We'll give you, so would 3.7 work?
No.
Well, let's try it. We have 37 times 8. 8 times 7 is 56. Carry the 5. 8 times 3 is 24 plus 5 is?
29.
Okay, so am I going to be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. 29.6, does that still fall under 30? Yeah, I'm okay. So any of these would be okay. Okay? Any questions? Are you guys confused at all?
So can we just do 3.5?